together up here, from the breaking waves on our rock-bound coast, through towering woods beneath stormy skies, over icy ground and granite hills. We ride together, over the bridges that bind us, the fire in our hearts that fed a revolution, through falling leaves across iron paths. The roll of the stirring drums unearths the humble, hungry, and fun. We ride together up here. When the lantern is raised, we answer its call, as strong as pines in winter, uniting every village and town. Whether here, there, or anywhere, we ride together. These are your riders, your lantern lighters, the pride of New England. Like those before them, they embrace the challenge. Every kick, every pass, every tackle, every free jack on their feet. The anthem of freedom on our lips. We ride together up here.
Hello and welcome to the New England Free Jacks Midnight Ride series. This is episode 7 in our monthly live shows called Back to Winning Ways. I'm Dallen STANFORD, former USA Sevens Eagle and current World Rugby commentator, and will be your host for the next 60 minutes or so. So we've seen 7 weeks of action so far in the exciting Major League Rugby 2021 season, with more ups and downs in the stock market. But today we have another brilliant show for you. We'll kick off with Free Jacks captain Josh LARSEN, the tall timber that went face-to-face with his brother Travis this past weekend inside the LA Memorial Coliseum. We'll then do a live Coach's Corner with New England head coach Ryan Martin. We'll review the match against San Diego. We'll look at his personal weightlifting schedule, and then we'll preview the upcoming home match on May 8th against Austin. Then we have a brand new segment called Fan of the Month. We'll feature the man they call Doc. He's busier than Oprah Winfrey, spreading love in the form of the Free Jacks. We then check in with players Kyle the Eagle CIQUERA and Joe the Mechanic Johnson. And then special guest, Free Jacks co-founder Errik Andersson comes on for all things rugby in America, what the future holds for the Free Jacks and MLR, plus why he has 2 R's in his first name, Errik. All right, the usual house rules. Please share this video on social media. Comment as many times as you can. The players and staff love seeing where you're supporting us from. And lastly, send us any questions for the guests that you have. Alrighty then, let's take a look at some of the highlights from the fantastic Free Jacks clash with the San Diego Legion from the iconic Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. And here we go, the Seat of Angels and the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum welcomes you to round 7 action of Major League Rugby 2021 as the Legion host the New England Free Jacks.
So far so good for San Diego, other than a bobble in their first maul.
Here it goes to Veramalua. Madden. Flat ball to Lewitz at first receiver. Huge tackle coming in on Vian Conradi. The Namibian gets a bit of meat as Poasa Wanganabao goes for a run himself. The winger inserting himself early in this game. Poland goes quickly. Free Jacks look for a bit of space out wide. Walker flings it to Johnson. The wheelbarrow Barlow gets the fend on Veramalua. Beats the first, still goes strong. Does the young wing 3/4. As New England stick the phases together beautifully. Jackson Thebus, the bus is full. Goes over Cecil Africa. Speed bump in the way. Still possession comes for New England. Tolatahu to the outside. It's Dougie Fife, the try scoring machine. Fife gets the first 5 at the Coliseum. And the Free Jacks have come to play. Diago and Fangasi for the Free Jacks. Board the back. Conradi, and his gaps opened up. Nobody saw that coming, not even Nostradamus. And John Poland gets try number 2 for the New England Free Jacks. De Comtat is there with him. Mitchell, short ball, Wuching. Ball's been pinched, here it comes, Waganabao looked around, Poasa Waganabao flicks it back in field to his best friend and teammate John Poland, who gets a double. Together we ride, they say. That's 3 unanswered tries from the Free Jack. Big strong tackle on him. Peter Janssen again, man that loves the South African Bright. Bright for breakfast, lunch and dinner if he could. His wife won't let him though as Fife goes on the outside. Dougie Fife in a bit of space, gets the offload. Johnson back in field. Bowman is there, cleaning it up though for the Legion is Lewis.
First man is good. First man.
Justin Johnson has this one.
16 out.
He's got that long arm over and pinched it. Fife yet again, they work the short side. Dummy's thrown. Back to Dougie Fife. Fife looking for the line. Fife is over yet again. Oh my Fife. This guy's brilliant. Yeah, about 73 degrees so far in sunny LA.
No.
Energy sapping play from both these sides. Tremendous amount of running as Janssen has it at the back. The maul goes strong for Coach Ryan Martin's Chargers. Bowman comes in as well to help out, and Pipoletti's there. Brought the back for Hatakeyama. Played in the famous 34-32 victory over the Springboks in Rugby World Cup 2015.
You've got advantage.
And there it is, all the way for Hatakeyama! Get out of here! Kenny Hatakeyama, one of the best rolling mauls you'll see in World Rugby, and it's the Free Jacks that get try number 5.
Well, brilliant stuff from them. 33-17, the final score against the San Diego Legion. Let's take a look at the MLR standings after 7 rounds of competition. And you can see here, the Western Conference, huge gap between the unbeaten LA side. You've got the high-riding Austin and tough Utah Warriors, and then the 3 teams at the bottom. But the Eastern Conference, complete cluster. New York, NOLA tied on 19 points, and the 3 sides, including the Free Jacks, tied with 16 points. DC is close behind. It's going to be a scary movie as we progress towards the playoffs. Well, let's look now then at the Free Jacks, the remaining matches. 7 home matches of 8 remain, and we can confirm increased attendance will be allowed from May 29 onwards. So we appreciate your patience and understanding as the restrictions change from month to month. We appreciate that. Now, Merch Mania continues at the Free Jacks store. Tons of deals. So many must-have items, including a whole range of summer kit, which is fast approaching. You can visit them at freejacks.com and pick up a couple of sensational items, you legends. All right, permission to land. This is your captain speaking. Let's get to the brilliant Josh LARSEN, who is working so hard on the field. He's starting to look a bit like a horse himself. Let's see if he's able to log in. And there he is. Josh, thanks for joining us, pal.
Hey, thanks for having me, Dallen. Always good to be here.
Well, listen, pal, firstly, congratulations on the superb victory against San Diego at the Coliseum. It must have been quite special.
Yeah, it was, yeah. I mean, that Coliseum is something else. I think I said it last time. The surface, the facilities around the field. It was good to have fans there at this time as well, sort of echoing around the stadium. I'd love to see it full one day. But, it was special place, venue to do it. And, yeah, the boys were up to it. So we're really happy with that trip out west.
Yeah, superb performance. And as you said, 77,500 to fill that stadium, but good to have fans there. And speaking of having people there, your brother Travis, he came off the bench for the Legion. You guys went head to head. I know you played together at Austin in MLR a few years back, but how long has it been since you've actually played against each other in a competitive fixture?
Well, that's really our first time playing against each other in a professional fixture. Him being 3 years older. We played some sort of club rugby back in the day. But yeah, no, nothing at a professional level. So that's pretty cool. That was really special. I talked to him a bit before the game and obviously after, and communicated with my old man, my dad back home. It's a cool moment for the Larsen boys. So it was awesome. Good to, he got a good run too. So I think I actually got into his ribs on the first clean out, which was nice. So we had a joke about that afterwards too.
I did. I saw some bantering back and forth, and I think he was sent to the bin as well for something, you guys niggling him there too. But it's great. It was great to have you both on the field. Let's talk about some of the aspects you guys excelled in. What do you think you guys did really well to set up that win?
Yeah, I think our line speed we bring off the line was probably one key factor we looked at during the week, that we could really put some heat on them. They're big boys, obviously, tackling, putting them onto the deck, making them work hard. And obviously it's been a theme from us from the start with Coach Mato around about just outwork, really working hard for each another. You don't coach babies and efforts, but if we can have that sorted, then a lot of other things will fall into place. And I think it sort of showed a few of the line breaks as support to get back. It was just a sea of white jerseys, which was really good to see. We could talk about the travel in a bit, but travel out there and everything, the guys are really working hard, especially coming off a couple of losses. So I'd put a lot of chopped defense and our line speed, and then going into our scrum was a big improvement. That's something we focused on a lot more during the week. It has been up to par, to be honest, for the first 6 games. So that's building nicely. And then obviously our line out more was something that we went to work, and it's good to see it really pay dividends in that sort of second half, and to close out the game, slow it down like that. That was really promising.
I think what really summed up the effort was that Vion Conradi hit that absolutely, took down Iglesias. He went down like a Nicolas Cage movie, and then you guys turned possession over, worked your upfield, and scored. It was just absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. No, it was. He's been playing out of his skin. And to get off the line like that and put on a big hit, it was pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool to see him. We're all around him, and got some pats on the back after that one for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Let's touch on that travel that you mentioned. So how do you guys cope? It's 6 hours, there and back. You also have a 3-hour time zone, and people underestimate that. That's huge when your body clock's trying to go to sleep or wake up early in the morning. How do you guys adjust to that in such a short space of time?
Yeah, I mean, it is a challenge. We've addressed that as a leadership group, and obviously with the players that, we've been fortunate enough to get out there on a Thursday afternoon, which gives us that extra day. A lot of teams and, us with shorter distances would travel Friday. So getting out there on a Thursday before a Saturday gives us that day to just, get together and have a full captain's run on the Friday after a night's sleep. So to get used to the time zone, that's really important. So we nailed that. Big credit to TK and the rest of the staff for nailing that. So yeah, it's just honestly a matter of just, this is what it is, Dallen, and it is tough travel getting out there. But yeah, I think we made the best of it, and giving us that day early really allowed us to adjust somewhat. Even though boys were up probably 4 or 5 in the morning, we had things going on, and get away from the hotel and stuff like that, get out to the beach, stuff like that, really just soak it all in, and sort of forget about the time zone as such. Yeah.
And do you have any teammates that are not good at traveling or forget things behind, or just poor roommates? Anything you can share with us?
Well, I could probably mention some of the snorers' names. They're probably the worst. I won't mention Harrison Boyle or Sapphire. They're probably the two worst. So you'll see them rooming together a lot for the rest of the season. Any away trips. I've heard boys can hear them 2 or 3 doors down. So I don't know what it is, but I've had some sort of issues in the background saying, "Oh, we can't be going with Harrison or Seth." But I think Billy, for that matter, is actually not the best calmest of sleepers. So it's a bit of a laugh. The boys there's a couple of them actually probably going to. I think as a Lecky might have bring his 50-inch TV in his check-on bag one time. So there's a few gamers in the team, that like to just stay put before the game, and reminds them at home, hey, you're all for it. But tell you what, I wouldn't be bringing a 50-inch TV across country like that.
Oh, Lecky, we'll have to get him on and shoot him for that, So let's switch across to Austin. Okay, the side you face this weekend on May 8th. What are your thoughts ahead of that battle?
Yeah, I mean, they're obviously confident, really confident at the moment. They're coming off 4 wins, I believe, after a couple of tough losses. And I think they're always going to find their feet. They've got, on paper, they're, a really good team. They're building something special there. Probably one point that sticks out to us, sort of looking at them, is their defensive. I think, arguably, they're the best defense in the comp. They're very well connected, and they're very disciplined on that. So it's just, we just sort of spoke as a group. It's going to take time with these guys to, break them down and wear them down. It's not going to come easy. So, we're up for the challenge. They're going to be, fizz, but again, playing at home, the Fortress, fans back at Union Point, it's going to be special, mate. So we're excited too.
Yeah, I bet, and not having to travel as well, just going down the road and playing in front of your home fans. I know they're eager to see you, and that's so wonderful, Now, last question for you. I know we don't mention it much, but what's the support been like for you personally out of Canada? I know that they've been following your journey here in the US, and particularly because there's no rugby happening north of the border.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Canada, the big focus is with the Arrows, and so it should be, a lot of Canadian internationals on there. I've had personal people reach out to me on social media channels and stuff, and the likes of Karen's been great. I know you know Karen really well, so the support's been great. I know Kingsley, the men's 15s coach, has been around viewing some of the games and stuff. So I mean, the support from Canada, they're all eyes on the league, North American League. I would love to see one day maybe maybe a team from out west join in the league. But it's been really honestly great, mate. I'm the only Canadian, obviously, in the Free Jacks, so sort of lone soldier in this team. But being Boston, probably close to the Montreal crowd. I've actually had a few calls with local clubs in Montreal and stuff, and just sort of sharing my experiences. So it's been awesome. The people of Canada, great.
Yeah, it's good. Well, we're happy to have you here. It gives us a little insight into Canadian life as well, and we can understand the way you talk. So that's really helpful for us, Joshy. I want to thank you. I want to thank you for coming on again the show. We want to, wish you all the best this weekend. We know we can have a strong crowd there again. Those that can't make it are going to watch you online, support you there. So go well, Cappy. We love seeing you guys in action.
Cheers, Dallen. Love your work. Thanks again, mate.
Awesome. Thanks, pal. There it is. The Captain Courageous himself popping on there. And now we've got time to catch up with Coach Ryan Martin for his popular Coach's Corner segment I'm thoroughly enjoying with Ted Lasso, the muscle man extraordinaire. There he is. There he is. Stash going strong. He's got a new hat on. How are you, my friend?
No, I'm very good, thank you. I got a bit of sun and a bit of a tan in the weekend, so living the dream.
I can see it. You're looking very dark there, Marto. So, listen, I had to throw in a chirp about your nickname, Muscle Man, on the broadcast this past weekend. Did they end up letting you into Gold's Gym?
No, not Gold's Gym, but we did go to Venice Beach, and I channeled a bit of Kelly Slater and took my management staff out in the water for a surf and showed them how it should be done. They bit of a steep learning curve for J-Rod Collinson, I think. He was a bit shocked on a surfboard, but no, it was a great day.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay, well, let's get to the rugby side. Saturday was an epic showdown at the Coliseum, your second time there, this time against the Legion. Let's get your analysis. We're going to pop some highlights on the screen here and talk us through it, my friend.
Cool. Yeah, so we turned up and realised it was actually going to be a very hot day. I think it was between 20, 25 degrees, and there was actually a little bit of wind swirling around the field. So we're pretty wary of getting a good start and kind of making a little bit of a line in the sand around how we wanted to play this game. And you can see early on the aggression on our D kind of helped us quickly transition onto attack, which was one of the things we wanted to do, transition quickly from attack to D. And I was really proud of this try. It's something we've been working on quite hard around our game model, shining a light on different aspects of what we're trying to do. And you can see the ball movement here. The speed of our recycle allows the people who you want to handle the ball on your team. It gives them time and space, and pretty special for Dougie. I think he's hit the 50-point mark, the first Free Jacks to do so. So he's maybe looking for a British and Orange Lions call-up later in today. So that was a great start for us, and it was a nice kind of momentum from here. The second try, brilliant work from our scrum, and then Vian, very intelligent player, obviously taking out that player as well as passing the ball, which opened up some nice space for little JP to score. And pretty cool that when you score between the posts, it's automatic 7 points. So no wasted time back into it. And then once again, just that transition from D to attack, which was kind of the big theme for us. And the two best friends there connect to create a pretty special try from a great defensive effort there from Puasa, and his little mate JP goes over again. From that point onwards, we didn't actually score again. We ended up making 182 tackles in the game, which is phenomenal. So it took a wee bit for us to get the ball back, but once we did, you can see we blew a few opportunities, and part of our review was essentially about the amount of points we left on the field as such. Once again, you can see here we transition from D to attack pretty quickly, and Dougie does what Dougie does best, and he goes over the white line again. So pretty phenomenal effort there. And then I think the next try is our maul try, yes. So something the forwards have been working really hard on, and you can see how far out essentially the start of this maul comes from, which is a pretty tough effort on a hot day. Forwards working hard for the team. So this is a great moment and a great confidence builder for us. And what I was probably really pleased with is for Kenny, who's a fantastic leader in our environment and a real role model and a seasoned veteran. And for him to show that amount of energy and care for our team says a lot. As I mentioned, he's played a lot of rugby, and it'd be easy for him just to clip a ticket over here, but he's giving back as much as he can. So that was a nice finish for us, to be honest. Yeah,
it really was special moment for him. And I know his followers in Japan were ecstatic about that. Yeah. And then also great that John Poland was named as the MLR Player of the Week, and that's very impressive. I know he's a player you've mentioned many times as being one of the best scrum offs you've worked with, and he's showing that on the field.
Oh, that's totally right, and well deserved. He's battled a couple of injuries, and you wouldn't know it by the way he's playing. So no, it's been a great effort from him.
Now, we just spoke to Josh. We spoke about the travel. Obviously flying 6 hours. You could end up in the UK if you flew 6 hours. You guys were in California and back. Give us a bit of insight as to the recovery this week and how you get in the Chargers prep for the weekend.
Yeah, so definitely the travel was a big factor actually, and I think the thing that hurts the most is when you come back from west to east, you lose the 3 hours. So I know it threw the boys a little bit with their sleep, but we got that learning from LA, and I have to take my hat off to our performance manager, Thomas Conley, who does a lot of work off field for the players and makes sure that the trips are, were very well managed, great food and all the timings, etc. sorted. So that takes a lot of pressure off the players being able to perform the way they do. But this week, we've really looked after our bodies. We had a nice review on the Monday. Then a good session banging each other yesterday. Today's off, and then we'll be short and sharp tomorrow, just making sure that we're turning up really excited about Saturday to be back at our home ground.
Yeah, let's talk about Saturday's fixtures. So your second ever professional fixture in franchise history. You play the high-riding Austin Gilgronis, 4-2 record for them, placing them second in the Western Conference behind the unbeaten LA team. So give us your analysis of the match coming up this weekend, and there will be a couple of highlights of them scoring coming up pretty soon.
Yep. So they're a very well coached team, especially in their forwards. And I think there's an interesting stat that they've defended 23 mauls close to their line. So no one tends to score maul tries against them. So what a great challenge that is for our team. As you can see, they've got some big ball runners in their pack, and they play pretty aggressively. They're highly combative. So we're very wary of that. And I think it's a great team for us to test our culture, our brotherhood against, because this is a team we're going to have to really be at our best and work really hard for each other. Our behaviours and efforts against this team will tell us a lot about what our team's about. So I think we're all excited around that opportunity to kind of put a line in the sand against a really aggressive team. And our attack strat group have found some great opportunities that we'll be looking to manipulate in this Austin team. But as I mentioned, we're under no illusions around what they'll be bringing. And I think that excites our forwards especially. They're really looking forward to it.
And don't forget now, you had a bet with Jamie McIntosh from the Austin side. I don't know what the bet was again. What do you remember?
Yeah, it was that you had to take the opposite team's management out for a meal and pay for the whole lot. Dallen.
Okay. So there we go. So we'll see what happens on Saturday. That's going to be great. We love the banter from Jamie as well. He's a good coach and a good player, of course. Right. Let's talk about any player updates. Any injury concerns and any players, any new players arrived.
So we obviously had a couple of injuries from the weekend that we're just keeping an eye on. But it looks like Seth is recovering really well. He had a pretty heavy bang to the upper body, and Pawasa went off with a bit of a knee tweak. So we're just managing that, but we're pretty happy where they're sitting at the moment, and we'll look to make a call on that in the next couple of days. We've got some good news. We have Ewan Brumwell arriving on Sunday from New Zealand. So Ewan holds an American passport, so he'll be classed as a domestic player, and he'll come in and can cover midfield and wing for us. And then we're looking to have Tuadraki and Joseph Tiki next Tuesday, potentially flying out of Fiji. So we're looking. It's great to get some reinforcements in, and they'll be looking to add a lot of value to our program.
Yeah, good timing for those players to come through as well. So something else outside of the team's performance, which has been a real highlight, is the home support and international following that we've seen for the Free Jacks. How much has this meant to you and the squad?
This is a pretty cool wee picture. It's actually my stepson who's the big rig there, and my two nephews who get up early in New Zealand time and watch our games, and they sent that before the San Diego game, so that was pretty cool to get that wee message. But I think because we have such a nice international flavour, plus our domestic players making up the New England Free Jacks, we get quite a universal support. Obviously the Boston locals, but also South Africans, Australians, New Zealanders, Pacific Islanders, Europeans. So we've got a really nice wee following, and I think that shows through on our social media, being one of the better ones in the MLR, and our support base and fan base is really well spread.
Yeah, it's beautiful to see that. And let's talk about the work in the community briefly. The under-23 team, I saw some social media coming about that, about the independence. Do you have any updates there for us?
Yeah, so we're pretty proud of what's been happening in that space. We had a identification sessions last weekend. So both Saturday and Sunday run by a great contingent of local coaches. And Tom Conley once again done a great way of setting that up, and great job of getting everybody involved. So there's a real local flavour. But we're trying to build a little bit of a culture around the Free Jacks way, and making sure that we're really well aligned from our professional team all the way down through our development team, so forth, and especially the U23s. And we've got some great matches for them coming up. Looking like they'll be playing the New York games before us, so that's really cool, and it means we can give a little bit back to our community and give people some real pathways to our professional team.
Yeah, very happy to see that happening now, which is awesome. Another talking point I want to talk about in the MLR is the difference in the two competitions, the tables, the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference. We know that the Legion, Houston, Seattle have struggled in that West Conference, but the Eastern Conference, super tight. Is it better to have that tight conference, or what do you think about the prep if you were in the other conference?
That's a great question. I think because you play the Eastern teams twice, that's where, and it's home and away, so essentially it's even split. So as long as you can perform in your home games, then it comes down to obviously getting those away wins, and then winning your Western Conference games as well. So I don't think it matters so much. I think if you look in the weekend, Seattle really pushed New York until I think the last play of the game. I think a lot of it is around the depth of the squads and the travel factor. I believe all teams can beat anyone on every day, and we'd love to have a shot at LA again. Don't worry about that. I think that's everyone's talking about, how far away they are from everyone else. But I think once they get on the road and maybe do 2 or 3 away trips, we'll find out a wee bit about them.
Yeah, I was going to say that they haven't had the travel yet, and the big journeys as well to the eastern side of the world. So, well, Marta, listen, we appreciate your time. Always a pleasure chatting with you. Anything else you want to add before we see you at Union Point Stadium this weekend?
No, we're just really looking forward to being back at Union Point. I think last time it was an amazing crowd, and they added a lot of energy to our performance. Just want to urge our supporters to turn up in droves and get a lot of them going, and let Austin know that they're in our backyard, and we won't back down for our crowd. Don't worry about that.
That's brilliant. Awesome, Coach. Well, thank you, Marto. All the best for the preparation, and we'll see you soon, my friend.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. Well, Coach Martin, what a star. Well, the Free Jacks, they've announced some exciting partnerships in recent times for the 2021 season, including Alloy Therapeutics, which you'll see in the front of the team jerseys. Big Vili Tolatau shows his approval. You can visit them at alloytx.com with their tagline, "Our mission, make medicine together." And then we have Arbella Insurance, official home and auto insurance provider of the New England Free Jacks. You can check them out at arbella.com and get yourself some quotes and sign up over there as well. Our next partner is Abington Ale House and Grill, the official restaurant of the Free Jacks. You can find them online also at abingtonalehouse.com. Obviously, I'm getting thirsty and hungry talking about them. But lastly, we feature Veldskoen, the soul of South Africa, available at the Free Jacks online store. Those legendary shoes are also given out to each match for the Free Jacks, who is the biggest workhorse on the field. You see that's Peter Janssen from that match, and this past weekend it was Jackson Thebus. All right, so speaking of workhorses, welcome to a new segment. We feature our Fan of the Month. And while we are fortunate to have so many brilliant supporters, no one went to the lengths than this character. Doc, are you there, my friend? We want to welcome you to our live show. You're a trendsetter.
I tried and set the path for the rest of the founding members and fans to follow.
You certainly have, So why don't you give us a little background into your rugby journey to date? How and when did you find the sport?
Yeah, so I actually found this sport on accident. A couple months before the pandemic kicked off, I was watching Invictus. Never seen the movie, saw the sport, never seen the sport before. So it got me wondering what was out there. And I started looking for matches on like YouTube and things like that to watch and find. And I stumbled across the Free Jacks. We have a team in New England. I didn't even know about this. So immediately bought tickets and started following, and it's been a love affair ever since.
Oh, that's a great background. And then, so your first ever home match, was that at Union Point Stadium, this for the Free Jacks?
It was, and it was my first ever rugby game, period. I'd never been to a match until then. As we know, the pandemic kind of ruined things last season for everybody. Had tickets to be at the first match last year. That didn't work out, but got there and was so happy, and it was a great thing to be there. And just loved every minute of it.
And have you converted any family members or friends to rugby yet?
Getting there. My wife went to the first home match with me, and she kind of humors me at the moment, but she's coming around a little bit. My two youngest kids, I have a twin son and daughter, and those two absolutely love it already. Every time they want to go outside, they're like, "Dad, can we go play rugby ball?" And grab the ball, we start tossing it around. They love it.
Oh, that's so great. And so what elements do you love about the sport of rugby, and why is it so different to other sports in your opinion?
Yeah, I think the simple fact that the camaraderie of the fan base between the fan and the organization, it just seems like it's one big family. The sport itself, it's so fast. It just keeps moving. You got to think on your feet, it looks like. I mean, it's controlled chaos out there on the field, but it's fantastic. It just keeps playing for, the whole 80 minutes. It's wonderful.
Okay, now you have all the gear, you've got all the merch, you see the felt spoon that you're wearing there. But let's talk about the tattoo. Firstly, can you show us the tattoo? I mean, we see the photo there, but what's the real thing look like?
We've got it there. That's probably the best right now.
Okay.
It's in that really ugly stage where it's trying to get past and get back to its beautiful glory. So it was one of those things where I was looking to get another one, and I'm thinking about it. I'm like, I have a brilliant idea. Like, I'm going to do it. And my wife was like, "Are you sure?" I said, "Oh, hell yeah, I'm sure. Let's get it done."
And so this is after going to one game and supporting the Free Jacks in a few matches. You had the tattoo. I mean, absolutely epic.
I'm hooked, and they've got me for life. It's a great organization. Everybody that I've dealt with from top down has been fantastic. Fans are incredible. First game, everybody's talking. It's like everybody knew each other. We just came back around to say hi. So it's wonderful. Oh, I'm in it for life.
And Doc, do you have a favorite player or a few favorite players that you like watching each week?
Yeah, a couple. I think Kenny, Kyle CIQUERA. I love the hair. Little envious, not gonna lie. So him, Josh, obviously. I mean, there's so many of them, but I can't forget my man Ollie. I know he hasn't been around as much lately, but he gets on that pitch, and you're gonna hear him all the way at home.
That's right, the little red wizard, Now, we'll see you Saturday again?
I will be there Saturday. We'll be there. It'll be me, my youngest daughter, and, of course, the rugby pup will be there along with me.
Doc, well, listen, we want to thank you so much for your support and the tattoo and everything else you're doing. We just love it. Just inspiring stories, and so great to have you on the show.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me. Anytime.
There it is. Wow, fascinating stuff. Well, there's some other interesting things that happened this week as well. We had a search in the wild for something rather strange. Let's see what the Eagle and Mechanic can find.
Alright guys, we're out here. We've heard reports from locals that there's a big scary animal lurking in these woods.
The authorities have called in the big guns, me and Joe, to get the job going and find this elusive creature. Oh, we're right on the trail, boys, right on the scent. Now come with us, come on. We're gonna find it, we're gonna find it.
Eagle, what do you reckon that is? Go check it out. Looks like something's been here for a while.
Oh. It's a big hole, man. Took a lot of work.
Oh yeah, bro. Something's here, bro.
Oh, wow. Wow. Crocky, mate. Wow. Something's definitely been living here.
These broken branches, something's big come through here. Got some dusty footwear. Definitely needs a new pair of boots.
Oh, wow. Wow. Joe, come over. I think I found something big. This could be it.
Yeah, it's a big footprint, bro. What do you think could have made it?
I don't know, but judging by this mud print here and the leaves and gravel around it, it's probably just been a day old at least. But I can tell you one thing, it's pretty big. It looks like it'd be great for a scrummaging type person, player. Great running ability. It's definitely on the move right now, and looks like an overall great rugby player. Could probably play any position on the field.
Yep, there's definitely something suspicious out here. We'll have to be back another day.
100% agree, Joe. We'll be back. We're back at the creature mobile here from our reconnaissance mission. A lot of evidence out there that we found today. Joe, I would agree with me. But once again, we are unsuccessful in finding the creature.
Yeah, nah, great day. Found a lot.
Oh, that just cracks me up every time. Well, we're lucky these two sensations made it out alive and they're able to join us live on the show. There they are together. They're riding. Well, listen, some Bear Grylls stuff in the wilderness they're tracking. Since this video, have you guys come closer to find anything out there, Kyle?
Found a lot in the woods. Still a lot to explore, but haven't come close to finding anything recently.
And Joe, the mechanic, I want to say you did unbelievably well not to laugh at the eagle. That last clip, you looked like you were about to burst out.
Yeah, I did laugh actually quite a lot. Couldn't keep it in. There was a lot of retakes and stuff like that, but it took a while, but we eventually got it done and I got all my giggles out.
Oh, that was so good. Well, listen, we can't wait to see what the Free Jacks mascot this thing is, what's coming out of the wild. Until then, the mechanic, let's talk about this past weekend. What was it like featuring again at the LA Coliseum?
It was good. I enjoyed playing there last time, and I enjoyed playing there this time as well. The hot day, but it was actually quite good to play under the sun and play on a real nice pitch. And there was a good crowd there, so there's a bit of atmosphere to play in. So no, I really enjoyed it. I know a lot of the other boys did as well. It's a good time in Cali. Yeah,
and good to get a win as well at that iconic venue. And then, Eagle, did you watch on the NESN broadcast?
Yeah, watched on the NESN broadcast. All the boys came over. Had a nice little cookout on the grill. Made some mean ribs, and it was a great time.
Oh, I bet you did. I love that. All right, now your boys are back this weekend at home. Joe, are you looking to deliver us an early Mother's Day present with a little victory there against Austin?
Yeah. Obviously, Mum loves watching me play rugby, and she even loves it more when we win. So, I'm going to go out there and do my best and get the win, hopefully.
And then, Eagle, your mom, has she seen you play a lot of rugby throughout your career? Does she love the sport?
Yeah. Fair amount of watching me play. She definitely loves it. Loves the social aspect of it. Just like the camaraderie between the players, and also like just fans and everything. So yeah, she's happy to watch and loves us when we win.
And your other nickname outside of the Eagle is the pot roast. So does your mom cook one of these every time you visit her?
100%. Those are maybe weekly. She cooks that as a memory of me.
Oh, this is absolutely brilliant. I mean, such characters. Now listen, are you guys roommates? Because I know your hairstyles are similar but different. I mean, they really do shout pure class.
No, we're neighbors.
Neighbors,
yeah.
And then, Eagle, let's get a close-up of your facial hair. I just want to see what the latest is this week.
Oh, my nice little, I shaved it yesterday. We're doing a mustache group now with the lads on the team. So we're all growing our different mustaches. This is my new little Fu Manchu going here.
No, it's real nice. The mechanic, come a little closer. Let's see you. You're also starting to get a little bit of a Magnum PI going on there.
Yeah, I've always said this. They're all copying me.
Oh, well, listen, gents, brilliant to catch up with you two. Sensations and such characters on and off the field. Look forward to the videos too when you guys search for the mascot, and whatever that ends up being, I'm sure it's going to be a good surprise for everybody.
Yeah, cheers. Thank you.
Awesome stuff. Well, two bloody legends again, just popping onto the show. We can't wait to see them on the field again coming up pretty soon, So let's see. If you guys listen to podcasts, well, you need to check out the Full Contact CEO with Alex Magleby, who brings on very interesting guests. When he's not spending 17 hours a day making 17-second social media clips, he puts on a very impressive podcast. You can also check out Blood, Sweat, and Beers that just dropped another lacquer pod with Olympic-bound women's 7-star Christy Kershey and the brilliant Tammy McQueen. Let's take a look at our home fixtures. 7 of exciting 8 matches at Union Point Stadium left. If you aren't able to get your tickets, make sure you catch the TV broadcast of the game or the rugbynetwork.com so you can make sure you're up to date with the Free Jacks action. Lots more sparks set to fly. And then in the merch department, we've got hats, beanies, accessories, whatever you want, whatever you need, whatever you don't need. It's there at the merch store, freejacks.com. So why not grab a little something for Mother's Day this weekend? Alrighty then. Our final guest is the extremely humble Errik Anderson, biotech wizard, remarkable entrepreneur, the extremely passionate rugby fan, the sleek sensation himself, the co-founder of the New England Free Jacks. And earlier today, I spoke with a man that has 2 R's in his first name. For joining us on Free Jacks Live. We're so happy to have you on the show. I know you're busier than James Bond, so appreciate your time.
Oh, thanks, Dallen. It's a pleasure to be on the show. Thanks.
Let's start off right at the beginning. So prior to establishing, the New England Free Jacks, what was your involvement in rugby and your impressions of the sport?
I came to rugby as a player in high school and in college. And then from there, it was mainly just watching the sport and my relationship with Alex Magleby, who is Mr. Rugby sort of everything across USAR. And he coaches the Dartmouth team here to 2 sevens titles. And stayed very close to the sport. Mags would always be giving me updates on where the professional side of the sport was going and where things were going amateur. He's, of course, incredibly involved in also supporting USAR and the development of our American players. And so when the MLR was coming together, it was really this moment in time where I started to pay a lot more attention via Mags with the professionalization of rugby, not only in the United States and in Canada, but also around the world. It's amazing how much it has happened in the last 20 years in the professionalization of the sport, which rugby only went pro in the late 90s. So it's actually a very young professional sport globally, which I started to appreciate then about the opportunity we had in North America.
And that's kind of what I actually wanted to lead up with, saying that it is so new here in North America. So what attracted you to get involved as a business person? Because let's be fair, you've done a bunch of other amazing things outside of the sport. Was it Mags, the unicorn, dressing up as a horse?
That certainly helps. I was always looking for a way to get Mags in a costume. Back in the No, Mags at his heart is a businessman. He's an engineer and he has a love for the sport. So where I found a lot of common ground, the love of the sport, the integrity of the sport is very important. It has to function as a business first and foremost. And all of the resources we gather as a business, we actually put back into a sport that we love. So in order to be viable and scalable and to bring rugby to everyone, we need to make sure it works as a business.
So let's talk about that business. How do you, what are your expectations and goals for the Free Jacks as an organization over the next, say, 5 years or so? And then, how's the progress going for that?
5, 10, 20 years, we take a very long view of this for the Free Jacks. We're committed to the team, to the league, to the sport generally, not only domestically in North America, but also globally. What brought us into the sport as a family office was that global connection and our ability to integrate our community in New England with the rest of the United States and Canada, but also globally. So our expectations is that we play by the rules, we operate with high integrity, which for us means you do what you say you're going to do. And that's one of our important values at the Free Jacks. That's a value that we share at our family. And our hope and our goal is that we create a pillar of the sporting community, which then becomes a pillar of the New England community, where at the youth level, you can show up and have a great time and be part of that community. It spans to the academy, and then it goes all the way up to the MLR tier. And I hope that fans can come out, experience a really great festival and a rugby match. And, at the same time, our organization does stand for some important values around hard work and integrity and showing up and getting your job done. Our players and our staff, they exhibit that every single day. And I'm just very proud that we're able to do those things in the community. That doesn't necessarily show up on the pitch every week. You're playing a rugby game. It's a sporting event and it's entertaining. But I always know that's the 10 or 20% that's there. And that's a lot of the why we are committed as a group to building a team in Major League Rugby.
Yeah, and I got a chance to see in the fall, I came out to a couple of the academy sessions and working with the community. And it was just so great to see these young girls and young boys see some of their stars that they see now on TV playing for the Free Jacks in the community, helping and working with them. And I think a lot of people just see the team as a professional unit on the field, but they don't see all the work that happens behind the scenes as well.
And how much the players and the staff cares about the community. It really, inside the Free Jacks organization, they talk about that all the time. Yeah, game day actually seems like an afterthought sometimes. I worry about. The guys do great on the pitch. It's very much about the whole organization operating 365 days of the year in the community. Success for us is being able to do that 52 weeks of the year, not just the 18 weeks when we're in regular season.
And let's talk about that, the on the field team as well. So what did it mean to you to see, the first ever franchise, official MLR match at home, and then also to see the success of the players on the field, even this past weekend in LA, they were just absolutely fantastic.
It's amazing to see someone's dream come true. I mean, in a lot of the businesses we're involved in, you operate at some level of the organization, but to see someone whose whole life they dreamed of being a professional athlete in rugby or otherwise, and to get them to be able to be part of that and to see it, it's kind of amazing. As far as the fans showing up, the first Free Jacks home game, official Free Jacks home game, we had the Cara Cup and there's the exhibition games and whatnot. We knew our fans were very engaged and very supportive. We had to cut the season short last year because of COVID, literally on the eve of our first home match, which we had already spent like 2 years preparing for. So Mags had to wait another year and the team had to wait another year to be with our fans. I was just really happy at the feedback we got from fans at our first home match, where they came out and they had a great time. They were surprised at how much the community actually could get together, even though all the social distancing. So it really bodes well for the energy in the stadium when we can open up fully and actually fill the place.
Yeah, they loved it. And even one fan who's on the show this today got a tattoo of the Free Jacks on them. So it's...
Are you kidding me? I have not heard this yet. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, so he's on the show. We'll send it to you. And it's just that is legendary. As you said, it's a newer team, newer sport for some fans. And to be able to do that is amazing. Let's also talk about the jersey. So it says Alloy Therapeutics on the front of the Free Jacks jersey. Can you give us some background into the company you founded and your work in the biotech field? And obviously, just remember, I know your resume is longer than Pinocchio's nose. So keep this to under 45 minutes.
Well, Alloy Therapeutics is the company that I run today. I'm the CEO of Alloy. I'm the founder of Alloy. We built Alloy as a biotech ecosystem company built around the principles of collaboration. We're called Alloy because we work with others to make medicine. And it's all about the recognition that making medicine is very much a team sport. It can be basic research all the way up to Pfizer commercializing a drug. And we occupy one narrow piece of that as a biotech company. There's got to be, everyone ahead of you has got to do their job perfectly to get to our point, and everyone after us has to do their job really well to get that medicine to patients. So you can kind of see the analogies that we see with rugby as well. What I love about rugby is the team has to function as a team with the flow of the sport. It's a little bit different than some other American sports, and that everyone has to do their job and has to have the presence of mind when they're on the pitch about where they should be today, but also thinking about where they need to be a minute from now, half a minute from now. And that has really, really great similarities in the teamwork that's required in biotech. So the Alloy team loves the Free Jacks, and the Free Jacks, they know a bit about what I do in my day job. And when there was the opportunity to put the Alloy logo on the front, which it's actually the Japanese character for person, and it's called the Hito logo. But the line is broken because people are sick, and we hope to bring folks together to make medicine together. And so right there on the front of the logo is a Japanese or Chinese character for people. And so we thought, I asked Mags if is this going to mar our jersey? Is this a bad thing? Like, I'm very proud of my association with both of those brands and those entities, and they stand for very similar things. And he's like, no, it'd be great. We'll bring together Kenny will love it.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, if Kenny loves it, then it should go on the jersey.
Oh, that's awesome. That's a fascinating story. And Kenny, we played like an inspired legend this past weekend as well, so the jersey carried him over. COVID obviously has had an effect on many organizations, particularly newer ones that are struggling or have folded. But what I've been impressed by is established brands partnering not only with the Free Jacks, but at the league level as well. We saw Geico, American Airlines, Guaranteed Rate, to name a few. And with your position as chairman of the board of governors, could you comment on the health of the league and your overall assessment, how far these 13 teams have come in such a short space of time?
I think the important thing to remember is this is a marathon and not a sprint. And it's being built by a bunch of dedicated executives and people who love rugby. So the league office has done a tremendous job in 2021, navigating COVID in 2020 and preparing for 2021. The whole sports world was a bit on the sideline, waiting to figure out if we'd be able to play. Would you see anyone live? And of course, then sponsorship and everything flows from being able to get fans in stands and to have a conversation with them, both us to our fans playing a sport, but also to these brands being exposed to our fans and vice versa. The league office has done a really fantastic job in navigating that and starting to scale the league. We're only in our fourth season here. And when you look at what happened in season one, the preparation that went in before that, it was a bunch of super dedicated team owners, some of them who had a lot of sophistication in rugby and running a sports team, and some of them that were just fresh. This is the first team they owned. So, or they had been involved in. There's always going to be ups and downs in a sports league as you figure these things out. You find the right product market fit with your fan base, but also among the owners. The strength of our business model is we're actually all part of the same entity. We're all members of MLR LLC. And because of that, we operate pretty effectively as a team. And there's going to be some owners at different times where they need help in one part of their organization or another. Our philosophy at the Free Jacks is that we are part of a bigger team at MLR, where if we do some things well, or if we're ahead of other folks, we'll help them with that. We learn things from the other owners, and we all try to help each other out. So the important thing, I think, for the league is that we focus on the long-term longevity, having the right 32 people in the boardroom as we grow from 13 teams all the way up to 30 or so when we're fully mature. But that doesn't have to be something we need to do in the next 5 years or even 10 years. It's about methodically building up the sport in North America, engaging with fans, building on that momentum, getting into bigger stadiums, building a community, and seeing where it takes us.
Let's say the US gets a Rugby World Cup 2031. Can you talk about, what you
have you given up on 27 already?
Well, no, I haven't. Okay. I heard you mention 2031 once, so I thought you had the inside track. So let's say 2027 or 2031. Yeah. We hope it's sooner than later. How do you think the game will look and the potential to capture, the imagination of the American audience 10 years from now or before?
Many Americans have not ever experienced a rugby match, but when they do see their first match, they're expecting American football. And then they start expecting a little bit of soccer. But when you explain some basics of the game, you start to appreciate how you actually have the strengths of both of those games, and in both, soccer being more of a flow sport and American football in its contact. Americans and Canadians really understand the sport intuitively, and they're able to associate it pretty quickly. I believe that the natural spring league football, as we call it, where I came from in Kansas, spring league football was rugby. Some guys would play football in the fall, and then in the spring, they would get really fit because, minutes in play in a rugby match is going to be 35 to 40 instead of like 10 to 12 in a football game. Anyone who loves a contact sport, I think, quickly can understand how the flow side of rugby and the contact side is pretty exciting. It's not a brutal sport. And that's what I think people coming in fresh to the game, they're expecting mixed martial arts with there's no pads and doesn't everyone just get bloody? Rugby is not like that. The rules of the game and the way that we interact as teams against one another, you are required to take the other player's safety into account when you engage in a tackle. And that's very, very unique to the sport. I think among sports, that's very unique, especially for a high contact sport. I think that's actually correlated with the overall culture of rugby being so inclusive. And the culture of, going out to dinner and maybe having beers afterwards, how the fans can get along with one another. And that's what we're trying to build upon, I think, to the American audience. So now, as I think out to a Rugby World Cup in 27 or 31, I think what we have to do is develop the youth in the academy. And if nothing else, just so that people understand and get an intuitive feel for the sport, because it's a really fun sport to play, especially when you're young. You get older. Do you still play?
I still play on the beach. Yeah, I play on the beach. Well, the beach when I was in LA, I haven't gone to the beach yet in Boston, but it's non-contact to keep it safe.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, non-contact. So we can do that. I know I'm actually amazed how many folks still play into their 40s and 50s, and even guys you see out there who are 60 who are like a prop and just like in the engine room doing the work. So it's a sport that ironically you can play as a contact sport into your 30s and 40s and 50s, which is, non-intuitive for people who are familiar with American football. So I think what fans, by just educating folks on the flow of the game and getting engaged with it, Americans are going to love when the World Cup comes to North America. And it's going to be fantastic. Whether that's 27 or 31, we'd just be happy to have either of them to work with World Rugby to maximize the potential, both for rugby in North America, but also, I would say, the awareness of rugby around the world. And how do we bring the world's enthusiasm for rugby to North America and vice versa? Whether that's 27 or 31, we're patient people. Like both of them will work. We'll wait to see what's best for World Rugby, in my opinion. Again, I as a chairman of the board, which by the way is not like a real power position here. It's like I sat down last when all the owners were trying to hand out duties. I have no power or control over this. There's a few other folks on our board who have really taken more of a leadership role in this. Tim Falcon in New Orleans and Ryan Patterson in San Diego have taken up the mantle for MLR, working with Killebrew and the whole team in the league office to try to work with USA Rugby and Rugby Canada to have the best plan. How do we put the best foot forward for North American rugby on the Rugby World Cup stage?
Well, after being in Japan, in 2019 and seeing how the fans came out, how the community supported everybody, and how well the team played and how it spread the game, amongst young girls and boys in that country, I'm super enthusiastic and excited about the US having it. Now, listen, I know you got to go. So quick question from the audience. Somebody asked here from the community says, what's the background with your first name that you have 2 R's in Errik?
Honestly, it's nothing more creative than my parents wanted to do something weird. No, my parents decided they were going to call me Errik, 2 R's and a K. The longer story is that my older brother's middle name was Errik, ERIC. And I'm number 2. Okay. I'm actually number 2 of 8 in my family, so I'm number 2. Second one comes around, and apparently the discussion between my mom and dad was, well, I still want an Errik. And the other one says, we're right. Like we used Errik up in the middle name. And they're like, no, I still want an Errik. And I'm like, well, if we concede the Errik, I get to pick a screwed up spelling. And
that's great.
2 R's and a K. So, by family lore. But here's the great thing. Errik.com was available when I first started getting into the internet. So it's you go to that. I don't even know where it forwards to. It's probably like my LinkedIn page, but I was able to buy Errik.com because it's such a weird name.
See, there we go. I love it. Okay, good. Well, final thoughts on the Free Jack community. They're obviously tuning in. We've got a ton of people that can come to the matches and somewhat obviously watching globally or nationally. Final message from you to them.
I'd say everyone just needs to be safe. We've ridden out this pandemic. Everyone's done a great job of taking care of themselves and their families and the community. It's been a really hard year. I would just ask that everyone runs through the finish line. This is we got to see this out to the end. I feel terrible that we can't open up the whole stadium. We get a lot of feedback of how do I come and attend. We don't control the policy in Massachusetts or the rest of the country. It's been this patchwork of regulations that has made it challenging to run a sports league. Just go talk to every other sports league. I just appreciate the fans and their engagement and how much they have done to maintain their allegiance and affiliation with the Free Jacks and Major League Rugby during this tough period where we can't actually get together face to face. So what's amazing for the Free Jacks is 6 of our last 7 games are at home at Union Point in Weymouth. So there's going to be a lot of time to have great rugby festivals all through the summer as hopefully we head into a playoff run and maybe make it in a showdown, East versus West, the first week in August for the finals.
We can't wait for that. Well, listen, we hope you pulled an Nostradamus there. Errik, thank you so much for your time, your sleek sensation, for everything you do for the Free Jacks. And without you, we wouldn't be here. So much appreciated.
Oh, I think that's overstating it. But thank you for all your amazing commentaries. Like whatever game you're commenting on, that's the one that people should be watching every week. Like it's magical.
You're too kind. Thank you very much, my friend. Lovely. Such a great chat with Errik. And wow, imagine a Rugby World Cup in the US in a few years. We certainly can't wait. All right, let's take a look at merchandise for the last time because there are thousands of items you can get. Long sleeve, old school jerseys, Hawaiian shirts, match kit, or just kit to lurk on the couch with. So get involved, you Quacha Burgers, freejacks.com. You see our home and away jersey there as well. Make sure you grab some of those. Very cool. I'm wearing the polo that looks very similar to the away jersey. So super nice. Also want to give a shout out to one of the other co-owners, Nate Ebner. His book is launching this month. It is called Finish Strong, A Father's Code and a Son's Path. So do me a personal favor and get yourself a copy. It will certainly pull with the heartstrings. Nate Ebner, what a legend. And then in other news, Sunday, May 23, there'll be a match watch-along with the 3-Bod Rugby Group and the Jacks Rangers. We'll have more on Jacks Rangers, that new podcast that's just come out from one of our legendary fans. And so we'll get to that in a little bit. So that's enough from me right now. I need to get back to commentating my wife walking around the house. So that's a wrap on show number 7 for the Free Jacks Live series. We spoke to head coach Ryan Martin, Captain Josh LARSEN, players CIQUERA and Joe Johnston, plus co-founder Errik Anderson and Doc, who was our fan of the month. You can visit freejacks.com, keep updated on all Major League Rugby news, including the Academy, plus the 3 different podcasts, Full Contact CEO, Blood, Sweat and Beers, as well as Pathways. You got tickets, you got merch, you got everything you need there. So please keep safe, everyone, and we'll see you either at Union Point Stadium or for our next live show in June. As they say in New England, let's ride.
There's New England. Stick the phases together beautifully. Jackson Davis, the bus is full. Goes over Cecil Africa. Speed bump in the way. Still possession comes for New England. Tolatahu to the outside. It's Dougie Fife, the try scoring machine. Fife gets the first 5 at the Coliseum. And the Free Jacks have come to play. Fangasi for the Free Jacks. Board the back. Conradi, and its gaps opened up. Nobody saw that coming, not even Nostradamus. And John Poland gets try number 2 for the New England Free Jacks. Peter Janssen again, man that loves the South African bride. He'd bride for breakfast, lunch and dinner if he could. His wife won't let him though, as Fife goes on the outside. Dougie Fife in a bit of space, gets the offload. Johnston back in field. Bowman is there, cleaning it up though for the Legioners. Lutz.
First man is good. First man.
Justin Johnson has this one.
16 out.
He's got that long arm over and pinched it. Fife yet again, they work the short side. Dummy's thrown. Back to Dougie Fife. Fife looking for the line. Fife is over yet again. Oh my Fife. This guy's brilliant. The maul goes strong for Coach Ryan Martin's Chargers. Bowman comes in as well to help out, and Pipoletti's there. Brought the back for Hatakeyama. Played in the famous 34-32 victory over the Springboks in Rugby World Cup 2015. And there it is, all the way for Hatakeyama! Get out of here! Kenny Hatakeyama, one of the best rolling mauls you'll see in World Rugby. And it's the Free Jacks that get try number 5.